Trusting in yourself and creation might be one of the most important decisions you'll ever make. Everything in our reality that causes trauma and drama comes from this feeling of separation, of not being loved, not being supported. It causes us to, as humans, fight, go to war, try to take things from each other, try to hoard. It's really the root cause of all greed and honestly human suffering. So, if there's one thing I'd like to help you step more into today, that is trusting in yourself as a facet of creator, as a part of creation. And this whole big creation, it's all connected, right? We are all part of this puzzle. And you, as source, you created this human body. So, trusting in yourself, how do you get beyond self doubt? I'm going to call the absence of trust self doubt. Well, first, understand where it comes from, and then understand clearly what is true, what is not. And then last, redecide to shift your perspective and to stop allowing the old programs of the mind to run you into fear. So, where does the self doubt come from first? Well, not knowing who we are, obviously. If you remembered who you were, if you remembered being nothing, being pure essence, pure consciousness, and then merging down into a physical structure, this life would probably seem pretty different, wouldn't it? Things that seem so huge would not seem so huge. And at the same time, things that we take for granted would seem sacred and precious and amazing. So I'm going to say all self doubt stems from not remembering who we are. And those of us who have had remembrances, like I had a near death experience a decade ago, a spontaneous full Kundalini awakening. And the best way I can describe myself, not from up here, but from a true embodied experiential knowing, is nothing. I am nothing. And ironically, being nothing is where all the knowing comes from. Unfortunately, it's when we believe that we are something or someone that we start having this thing called being, self-conscious, doubting ourselves. So where did that come from? Well, look at all the rules in our society. So are you still playing by any of the rules? Like, I'm a girl, I'm a boy, because I'm not a girl. I'm a pure essence as creator experiencing a female form. You're not your gender. I'm not an American. I'm not a yoga teacher, employment consultant. I'm not an embodiment guide, which is what I do here. I help people remember who they are and embody their light. But when you believe in these things, you start picking up on these beliefs from your parents and society that you have to act this way, be this way, look this way. All the judgments that you pick up. Now you're always trying to fit into all these little boxes. I'm looking at this screen back here. Look at all the little boxes. How many beliefs have you created that you're trying to fit into? And the thing about trying to fit into those little boxes there is once you fit into that box there, well, that box isn't going to agree with that box there. So all your little identities are going to contradict one another. And now you can never be good enough. You can never be just perfectly okay as you are. And you're always going to be lacking confidence. You're always going to be doubting yourself because over here you say, well, this is who I am. I don't know, a good Catholic girl, or I'm a good spiritual person, or blah, blah, blah. Just a human character that you created. And over here, you're like, no, I'm rebellious. I'm blah, blah, blah. Over here, you're like, it's good to be nice. You want to be nice to people and be kind. And then down here, somewhere along the lines, you picked up, well, being nice is it's fake, it's sugar coated, and this can go from everything to how your body looks as a female, how you act, what you're supposed to do, as a male, you're supposed to be strong, you're supposed to be the provider, and blah, blah, blah. These beliefs are absolutely what keeps us from feeling confident and good about ourselves, and from just knowing that we're perfect as we are. If you know and feel, I'm perfect as I am, all these boxes are just made up, they're make believe. Take a breath with me. Come into your body. Feel your presence, your heart. Feel who you truly are, because your true essence doesn't fit into any box. And the more you feel that, and you're willing to release all these beliefs and identities, the more expansive you feel. And when you can truly, and I mean truly, completely say, I'm done with all these identities. This personality is fun, but this character, it's not really me. And you really come into your heart and your presence, and you're willing to leave all that behind. It doesn't mean you can't be a mom or a friend. You can still act it out, right? This is an act of consciousness. You can still show up, but having this awareness always of who you truly are. And again, coming out of here, because all the boxes, they're all up here. You take a deep breath. You come into your body, your core, your heart. You feel your presence coming back into your wholeness as who you are. And you start to live from this place. And when the thoughts come up about fear and survival, because most of those boxes are fear and survival, right? About how you got to act and what you got to do. And oh my God, you got to make the bills or get the job or get the boyfriend or the wife or get your next meal, or what will people think about me? All this stuff from up here. You take a breath, you let that go. And you feel through here who you truly are more and more and more. You will find that the self-doubt, the lack of trust, it all came from up here. And I'll put some funny perspectives on this now, okay, to make this more real. Like before I do an event, a video, heck, I'll even back up. If you've never seen my older videos, I share there was a time when I was agoraphobic. I couldn't leave the house. I had severe anxiety when I was younger. I had autoimmune diseases. Gosh, how much trust was I lacking back then, right? I was always trying to fix myself, and I thought I was completely broken. Can anyone relate? Maybe you want to put a comment. I've gotten so many awesome comments, by the way, with this new video series, so thank you. And if you have any requests, please feel free. But anyway, so I've lived in a state of extreme lack of trust and self-doubt. About 10 years ago, I had this spontaneous Kundalini awakening, which I experienced as a full near death. And when I streamed back into the body, and yes, I remembered myself as nothing, but I also, for a long, long time, many years, didn't feel human. Like I could go out and be in public, and I can remember often feeling like a blade of grass. And I had so much fun with it because none of the energies, the emotional energies flying around, had anything to do with me. So being able to completely disengage from identification as a human, during those years, my body healed and rejuvenated itself. And I spent a tremendous amount of time in silence and watching videos like this and staying connected to that truth rather than letting myself get railroaded by the outside world, right? If we aren't able to say no, which is a self-trust thing, if we can't say no to things that we don't want to do, that's an absolute lack of self-trust and really being true to yourself. So the more you trust yourself and you live in a state of love, of presence, of isness, of pure consciousness, rather than fear, the more you're going to be absolutely true to who you are. You can follow your joy. You can do what calls to your heart rather than what all these boxes say. And ultimately, when you really live in a state of this, what I'm calling trust, which is also you could call presence or isness or just being embodied as who you are, when you come back to yourself again and again and again, refusing to let all this beliefs and all this human reality overshadow your inner knowing, I am that I am, your body and mind transform. And I don't want to sugarcoat it and say all of a sudden everything is sunshine and roses, because initially everything comes up to the surface and it can seem like things get worse before they get better. If you're in the stage where you feel like everything's gotten worse, your anxiety is worse than ever, you feel more overwhelmed than ever, maybe you're upset about yourself, your life, the world, however the fear kind of manifests for you. For some, it's depression, shut down, closed down. For some, it's feeling scattered and nervous all the time, whatever. However that manifests for you, just know that if you keep coming back to yourself, which takes trust, to your knowing, I'll call it the path of awakening and embodying who you are, the path of enlightenment, because we're all already enlightened. It's who you are. You're eternal. You are the eternal one. You're the ascended master, but you descended into a human body, fell asleep, and now you're remembering. So trust yourself. A couple things I saw, that I can share when I had this experience, that again, it's not a belief, it's not up here. Everything I share is from embodied experience. I don't read stuff and regurgitate it. Everything I share here and when I work with folks is 100% based on my knowing and experience as creator in form. So I can remember many times around this big shift, seeing myself, we'll say the self is more up here, and then being that self, and then being the human self, and being that self, and being the human self. And when I got to experience myself as the real self, I could see that I was coordinating everything in my human life. Isn't that amazing? I was pushing buttons, I was activating things, I was, maybe hitting some emotional chords like, okay, we're going to release this now, and then bringing people into my life. And I often call that, sending your team to do stuff, your angelic team, the angels, archangels, and ascended masters, who are your friends, but also there are other facets of you at different vibratory levels and with different frequencies. And you, as creator, on one level, you're all that is, and I'm all that is. So on one level, we're one and the same. But through the level of experience, we're unique. We have unique frequencies, tones, radiances. Now, seeing that and knowing it is tremendous. But a lot of people say, well, Cathy, I don't feel it. I don't know it. The funny thing is, what came first again, the chicken or the egg? Well, first you remember something. It's fuzzy. You can almost taste it. You can sense it. You just know it, or you wouldn't be here still listening to this video. And you say, yes, this feels like truth. And it takes all of your commitment. Like, damn it, I'm either going to choose love or fear. No, everything in these boxes is screaming fear, fear. Go for survival. Don't trust. right? Is that real? That's bullcrap. And you choose love. You choose I'm infinite. You choose I am that I am. You choose it again and again and again and again and again and again. And seemingly forever. At least for me. Seemingly like, why am I doing this? And that's exactly when things tend to pop, right? When you feel like giving up, keep going, okay? It's the times that we most feel stressed, pressed upon, that we feel most fearful, most doubtful, that something's about to break. And that's where people give up and go right back into the loop of fear and say, well, I don't know why anything isn't changing in my life. Those are the times to dig deep and come back to your heart, come back to your knowing. Again, I've shared, make little lists, little notes, do whatever you need to do to remind yourself when all this is yelling at you. These little boxes are rah, 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 loudspeakers from the ego and the energies and the fears and the emotions bubbling up. That's the time to trust more than ever. That's the time to say, well, as I did at the moment that I felt myself being swallowed by this darkness, which is how I had this experience, the most horrific, gruesome, disgusting darkness arose within me. And I finally, rather than leaving my body, going off into the mind, thinking about it, I went back in to the body and said, damn it, this is my body. And the experience I had was one of complete death. A very gruesome experience, actually, going into this Kundalini awakening. And I just said, you know what? God, I've been working so hard on this, and I was exhausted from trying to deal with all of this awakening, the fear and the I mean, it will exhaust you if you are in that point. Choose love, because the last thing I said was, well, I'm either eternal or I'm going to find out if not, and I let go. I let the darkness consume me. It swallowed me, and it was very intense. And funny enough, surrendering is what brought me through the other side to all that is. Saying, that's it. I'm going to trust that my higher levels of consciousness, my creator self, is in charge. And that's what happened. Poof, I came through. So, whatever you do, keep coming back to trust. And not only is it going to allow you to expand and expand and expand beyond all the fears, it's going to help your body to rebuild and rejuvenate. When you live in a space of trust, your body is not in fight or flight, it's in rest and digest. Your nervous system is regulated. When you're relaxed and open and in your beingness, I mean, your body is regenerating. Not just your body, it's been proven now. Your telomeres are regenerating, the very thing that allows your body to stay young. Aging is all caused by survival and separation. What if our bodies were designed to live way longer and to not deteriorate and get painful and creaky and all this other stuff? Knowing that your beliefs create your reality, could you either trust enough and or choose, if I'm going to believe anything, it's that my body can absolutely recover, rejuvenate from anything, and that my body is perfect as is. You have all the power in this life to choose love or fear, to trust or not trust, which is the same thing, and to create. Now, creating, almost always, we've learned to create from here. When you take a breath, you come into your body, into your presence. Feel it with me. You open up. You live in this state of beingness, of feeling your presence, feeling what it feels like to be alive. And then you ask for the creations of love and joy and enjoyment. I think we probably all kind of want similar things. And then let them come in the way that they come to you without trying to control, because you trust and you know that your higher self, the universe, your creator self, whatever you want to call it, life knows exactly what is best for you, what you're going to love more than this guy even knows. And that's when you start having beautiful creations in your life that you couldn't have even thought of from up here. So if you're going to make one choice today, take a deep breath with me and choose trust. I trust myself. I trust life. I can't love or fear. Which way am I going to go? Let's go with love and know that you are loved, you're supported. Energy wants to serve you if you'll just let go of the tight grip of the reins of fear and control and trust. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.